Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Thursday, 28th November 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Hundreds of firearms to be dismantled and destroyed by St. Lucia's police. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. 333 weapons associated with various crimes that have been closed by police began being destroyed at the SSU base in Tapion, Castries on Monday. The island has already recorded more firearms offences this year than in 2023. Miriam Montoud of the DBS News World out of St. Lucia reports.
18 members of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force underwent training in weapons destruction. The training consisted of 5 days in-classroom theory training on weapon and ammunition management and a practical component in which 333 weapons will be destroyed. The weapons being destroyed were confiscated by the police and are part of cases which have been closed. In some cases, the weapons destroyed belong to individuals who passed away. Calixtus Joseph from CARICOM Impact says one of the reasons for destroying the weapons rather than just storing them is the risk of theft.
Why don't the police use those weapons? Okay, one of the reasons is that those are confiscated weapons you receive from perhaps criminals and other persons. And you know, if you receive a weapon from a criminal, you cannot put it back into the system. It's like putting tainted food into something. That means if the police is testing that weapons, and maybe there was a killing that happened 4 years ago, if they're using it, they cannot even say who used it. So you cannot put it back in the system. Some of them, the police change their stock. As technology increases, criminals might get different kind of weapons. The police also get different kind of weapons. So they may not use those weapons anymore.
The weapons are properly documented before being destroyed. In addition, the weapons are destroyed in such a manner that they will not be able to be reassembled. The different parts of each weapon destroyed are also placed in separate bins rather than just one.
I would like first and foremost to say that as a small island developing state, any assistance that we could get to build capacity, to obtain resources is highly welcome. To you, the participants, I must implore you to take in as much as you can, or everything that is disseminated during this training program. As in a modernizing world, we need to keep ahead.
The weapons destruction and training agenda is being carried out through a partnership between CARICOM Impacts and the Mines Advisory Group, MAG. MAG is a non-governmental organization that assists those affected by landmines, unexploded ordnance, and small arms and light weapons. The weapons destruction and training agenda is being carried out in 10 Caribbean countries.
I want to take a moment to commend the incredible work of CARICOM Impact and MAG in advancing our understanding of gender equity in the management of weapons. The recognition that gender and conflict sensitivity are intertwined power dynamics demonstrates a deep commitment to tackling the root causes of insecurity. Working with implementing partners and stakeholders to achieve the same high standards in gender inclusion is a powerful way to create lasting change.
For this year, a total of 72 illegal firearms along with 1,318 rounds of various caliber ammunition were recovered by law enforcement. During the year 2024, law enforcement solved 215 cases of firearm-related crime out of a total of 284 cases, achieving a higher detection rate of 76% when compared to the year 2024. Thus far, the majority of murders committed were done with a firearm. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
Even though its members of parliament stand to benefit, the opposition has rejected the Salaries Review Commission's latest proposal for salary increases. The proposed increases could cost taxpayers over $150 million in back pay. Making their positions clear, MPs Barry Paradath and Ruranath Indar Singh say the ball is now in the government's court to say whether the report will move forward. CNC3's K. Marie Fletcher reports.
The opposition is demanding Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and Finance Minister Carmen Burt break their silence on government's stance on the Salaries Review Commission's recommendations for salary increases and back pay.
Are you going to accept or are you going to reject the Salary Reviews Commission report?
While the SRC's report is set to benefit all parliamentarians, the opposition says now is not the right time.
The opposition was very clear when this Salary Reviews Commission report came to the parliament. We pronounced that we rejected it.
Given the hardship, given what is currently prevailing in the public domain and so on, this is not the time.
Dr. Rowley and Minister Imbert are yet to respond to questions from CNC3 News. Efforts to contact Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Stuart Young, and the Leader of Government Business, Camille Robinson-Regis, on the matter were also futile up to news time. But according to Padarat, their silence speaks volumes.
The reason why they continue to remain so silent is that they know their polling is showing them, their public relation handlers are telling them that their deceit and their corruption is what is fueling their greed for back pay and higher salary rates in this country, while you are telling public servants, hold strain till 2027.
If the SRC report is implemented, it would cost taxpayers over $150 million in back pay. The Prime Minister would be entitled to receive $1.1 million in back pay. Opposition leader Kamla Prasad Basesa would receive over $960,000. And together, the 41 MPs would receive close to $6 million in back pay. The SRC was laid in Parliament earlier this month amid an outcry among several unions for decades-long salary increases. K. Marie Fletcher, CNC3 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Over in the Bahamas, debate over capital punishment reignites amid high crime concerns. ZNS News has more.
National conversation sparked yet again following the brutal murder of a child in New Providence last week. But the enforcement of capital punishment remains a contentious issue, with some advocating its reinstatement as a deterrent to rising and serious crime. However, in this report, attorneys contend that hanging is not the solution.
The international community thinks those countries that still have things like hanging and stuff are backwards.
A renewed call for capital punishment from residents throughout the Bahamas who have echoed enough is enough after a 12-year-old girl was killed in the nation's capital last week. But the enforcement of capital punishment remains a divisive issue. While some argue that its application could deter high crime rates, attorney-at-law Constance McDonald believes that hanging is not the answer.
A person who is ill, they don't think about, I can get hanged. Persons who are about to commit a crime, you think they think they can get caught? So why you feel as if the harsher the penalties, it will lessen the crime? No.
McDonald asserts that capital punishment fails to address the root causes of crime in society.
You can hang a person, but that ain't dealing with the evil that is seething in our society. It doesn't deal with it. You can imprison a person. That doesn't stop the evil. What we need to do is we need to deal with the issues which cause these problems.
Although capital punishment is illegally on the books within the Bahamas, its enforcement requires approval by the Privy Council, the country's final court of appeal, which only permits it in cases deemed to be the worst of the worst. Counsel and attorney Jacqueline Burrows is also opposed to capital punishment, expressing her view that many members of the Privy Council oppose capital punishment, making its enforcement unlikely.
They do not believe in hanging, and so they would find any reason for the case to be considered not among the worst of the worst.
An historian is calling for the reparations campaign to become a mass movement. Lecturer in History, Department of History and Philosophy at the University of the West Indies, Keyville campus, Dr. Rodney Worrell says reparations need to be popularized in all segments of society. He says reparations should not be perceived as just a movement led by academics, Pan-Africanists and Rastafarians. He was speaking at the National Task Force on Reparations panel discussion. Dr. Worrell adds he hopes that CARICOM's 10-point plan for reparation justice will be shared with the citizens of the countries involved.
But we should have all sections of the society talking about reparations. All sections of the society should become knowledgeable about reparations. Sometimes I cringe at the kind of discussions about reparations, given the fact that the reparations conversation didn't start yesterday. To aid inside of the disseminating information about reparations, we need to, as was mentioned, as a historian, we need to get reparations in school. And it should be done in such a way, a massive launch, and the 10 points should be disseminated widely. We must continue to use the conferences and all spaces to build the support for reparations. And we must continue to call on the Drax family to release the plantation and the lands for reparations or for apartheid justice in Barbados.
A senior cop aided drug traffickers to land planes on illegal airstrip in Region 1 in Guyana. He will be brought to justice, according to a report. Travis Chase of the HGP Nightly News has more.
There is more than enough evidence that a senior policeman who was stationed in Region 1 aided drug traffickers in smuggling several pounds of cocaine into Guyana over a 3-year period. According to a report, the senior cop allowed smugglers, especially those from the Colombian cartel, to land planes on an illegal airstrip in Region 1, offload tons of cocaine, and then place them into makeshift bunkers. Further investigation has revealed that the officer escorted drug smugglers with vehicles loaded with cocaine. The senior cop, whose United States visa has since been revoked, was paid millions of dollars for, quote, facilitating the flow of drugs in that region. We have found that the officer hid behind his badge and engaged in transnational criminal activity. He is corrupt and will be brought to justice, a damning report has revealed. Nightly News has also been informed that the officer, after his transfer from Region 1, threatened several other ranks that should they spill the beans about his involvement in the drug trade, they will be dealt with. The report found that Guyana remains a principal and major drug trafficking hub for Colombian cocaine. The drug enters Guyana via the northeastern Venezuelan state with protection from corrupt Venezuelan military. On September 1, 2024, with the help of the United States Drug Enforcement Agency, 4.4 tons of cocaine was confiscated in 4 makeshift bunkers about 30 minutes from an illegal airstrip in Region 1. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
believe in our strength. We'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give. It's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.